It was supposed to be a normal Tuesday evening in the quiet town of Brookhaven, Oregon. A 29-year-old woman finished her shift at work and sent a short message to her sister saying she was on her way home. That was the last message anyone ever received from her. She never arrived. Her phone went silent, and within hours her family realized something was terribly wrong. Her name was Stacey Middleton. She was 29 years old and worked as a medical receptionist at a small private clinic on Pine Street. Brookhaven was the kind of town where people left their doors unlocked and neighbors knew each other by name. Stacey was known for being careful and predictable. Every weekday followed the same routine. She left work around 6 in the evening, drove 15 minutes home to her apartment on Maple Ridge Drive, fed her dog, and spent the rest of the night watching television or reading. She rarely changed her route and never stayed out late. Stacey had plans for the future. She had recently signed a lease for a larger apartment closer to downtown and was saving money for a vacation to Florida she had been planning with her best friend. Friends described her as kind, responsible, and cautious. There was nothing in her life that suggested she would suddenly disappear. On the night she vanished, security cameras recorded Stacey leaving the clinic at 6:12 p.m. She waved goodbye to a coworker, Sarah Collins, and walked to her car in the parking lot. At 6:18 p.m., she sent a text message to her sister, Lily Middleton, that said, "I'm leaving now. See you later." Phone data later showed that she began driving her usual route home along Oak Avenue and then turned onto Lakeview Road. But 9 minutes later, something unexpected happened. At 6:27 p.m., her car stopped moving. It did not stop near her apartment. It did not stop at a store or a gas station. It stopped on a dark service road behind an abandoned warehouse near Millstone Road, on the outskirts of Brookhaven. Moments later, her phone signal disappeared completely. When Stacey failed to come home that night, Lily assumed she had stopped somewhere along the way. But by midnight, panic began to set in. Stacey never turned off her phone without warning. She never missed work without calling. By morning, her family contacted the Brookhaven Police Department. Later that day, officers located Stacey's car parked crookedly along the side of the service road near Millstone Road. The engine was off. The doors were unlocked. Inside the car were her purse, her wallet, her keys, and her phone. Nothing appeared to be stolen. There were no signs of a struggle, no broken windows, no blood, no fingerprints that didn't belong to her. It looked as if Stacey had simply stepped out of her car and walked away. Police brought in search dogs. The dogs followed Stacey's scent from the driver's door to the edge of the road. And then the trail stopped. It was as if she had gotten into another vehicle and vanished into thin air. Detectives began interviewing everyone in Stacey's life. Coworkers at the clinic said she seemed normal that day. Family members reported no arguments or strange behavior. Her ex-boyfriend, Jason Miller, was questioned but had an alibi. No one could explain why Stacey would stop on such an isolated road in the middle of her drive home. Then a disturbing pattern emerged. Several women came forward and reported that they had been followed on that same stretch of Lakeview Road in the weeks before Stacey disappeared. They described a dark-colored SUV with tinted windows and no visible license plate that drove slowly behind them at night. None of them had been harmed, but all of them remembered feeling afraid. Police searched the area surrounding Millstone Road and the service road. They combed through the nearby woods along Silver Creek, inspected abandoned buildings, and searched the river that ran less than a mile away. Nothing was found. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Stacey Middleton was officially listed as a missing person. With no physical evidence, investigators began to consider different theories. The first theory was random abduction. The location where Stacey's car stopped was poorly lit and rarely used at night. If someone had forced her into another vehicle, there would likely be no witnesses. The scent trail ending at the road seemed to support this idea. But despite the reports of a suspicious SUV, no suspect was ever identified. The second theory was that Stacey had stopped for someone she knew. Perhaps she recognized a person in trouble, a coworker, a friend, or someone pretending to need help. Her family believed she would never get out of her car for a stranger, but they could not rule out the possibility that she trusted the wrong person. A third theory suggested that Stacey left voluntarily, but this idea quickly collapsed. She left behind her phone and her money. A third theory suggested that Amanda left voluntarily, but this idea quickly collapsed. She left behind her phone, her money, and all personal belongings, items she would surely have taken if she had planned to disappear. Friends and family insisted that she was not the type to vanish without explanation. There were no notes, no messages hinting at plans, and no sudden changes in her behavior. Every aspect of her life pointed to someone who was cautious, responsible, and deeply connected to the people around her. As the investigation continued, detectives mapped out every detail of Amanda's last known movements. Security footage, phone data, and witness statements all pointed to the same isolated service road. Investigators interviewed anyone who might have been in the area that night, but no credible leads emerged. The SUV described by multiple women remained unidentified, and no surveillance cameras captured it near the scene. Community members became increasingly anxious. In a town where everyone knew one another, the disappearance of Amanda Reynolds was unprecedented. Local news outlets covered the story extensively, appealing to anyone with information to come forward. Neighbors organized search parties, combing the woods, abandoned properties, and riverbanks, but nothing was found. It was as if Amanda had simply vanished from the face of the earth. Months later, the case remained open. Detectives continued to follow up on tips, re-examine old leads, and consult with profiling experts. Every theory was considered: accidental death, foul play, abduction, or even a carefully planned disappearance. Yet none fit perfectly. The lack of evidence frustrated both investigators and Amanda's family, who were left with a constant, gnawing uncertainty. Amanda's story served as a chilling reminder that even in the safest towns, ordinary routines can be shattered in an instant. Her disappearance prompted the community to reevaluate safety, to install more lighting, and to be more aware of the people and vehicles that moved through their streets. Despite the passage of time, Amanda Reynolds' case remained a haunting mystery, leaving her family, friends, and the entire town of Cedar Falls searching for answers that may never come. To this day, Amanda's car, her belongings, and the dark service road where she was last seen stand as silent witnesses to a night that changed a town forever. Her family continues to hope for closure, clinging to any scrap of information, any sighting, any clue that could finally reveal the truth behind her disappearance. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to File 13 True Crime for more stories.